Hey y'all, it's Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 21 of Scrap-O-Ween. It is Freaky Friday and time to work in my October daily. So let's get started. For this first picture, I'm going to use this piece of vellum here and cut it down to a size that will fit into my little book. And I think it's like 4 1/4 by 5. I think that's what it is. So I'm looking through the 6x8 paper pad for the spooky collection from Pebbles, and I have this idea to use some ghost stamps. So I want to stay away from the oranges in this paper pad. Plus there's a lot of orange in my photo. And the reason why I wanted to do some ghosts is because it goes with the theme of the book that I'm reading for Halloween this year, or for my October read this year. And this book is called The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. And I've never read it before. I have seen a movie that was based on it. Oh, it came out in the 90s maybe? Yeah, I think so. And I can just remember in the movie they had some jump scares, and it's not really scary. You know they're all coming. But there was one jump scare in the movie that I knew it was coming, and I still jumped and screamed. And my husband laughed at me. Oh. But I have started reading the book, and well, I don't know. It doesn't so far really go with the movie. So it definitely feels a little more gothic, I think. It's not scary yet, which is good because I don't really want scary. I just kind of want that spooky mood. So what I'm doing here is I have this little haunted house with the little ghosts coming out of the windows and the I think the chimney. And I'm using my StazOn ink in black because I don't actually know if this paper is true vellum or if it's just something similar to vellum. But because it's not just regular paper, I wanted to use the StazOn because I wanted a nice, crisp, clear impression, or not impression, but printing. And I didn't want it to smear, and the StazOn tends to dry fairly quickly, and it makes a nice, crisp, clean, stamped image. I think you can also use it on acetate, and I know it works on acrylic because I have gotten some of this on my little acrylic blocks here, and it does not wash off. So once this dries and is set, it's not going to smear or come off. And I'm just using my little Lawn Fawn squeegee type thing there. Not squeegee, but what is that? I don't know what it's made out of, but you get it damp and it will clean off your stamps. Now the StazOn does not come off completely, but that does do a pretty good job of cleaning the StazOn while it's still a little wet. Now since this is going on just straight in my book and not inside of a pocket, I put a lot of ATG tape on it. And then I'm going to use one of these little labels here. This is a stamp set from Ellie's Studio. It's so cute. It's a bunch of labels with little stars in it. And I do have a die that will cut out all of these, but I have not gotten around to doing that, so I just trimmed it out with my scissors. And then for the little rounded parts on the edges here, I just use my single hole punch. Get that all situated, and then I'm going to put this onto my photo here. And I just took a picture of the book on my kitchen table that I have all decorated for Halloween, and it just says Spooky Halloween Reading. Now on this side, I'm going to put the second piece of paper that you saw me trim out, that I tried to make exactly the same as the one on the front because I want to cover up the back of that. And what's really fun is that you can see the little haunted house and the ghosties even on that side. And I have this little felt sticker. I can't remember if I got that. No, I couldn't have gotten it from Hobby Lobby. It had to have been from Michael's. And I'm going to put some of my Tim Holtz mica stain on. But before I do that, I realized, oh, I really need to put some hole reinforcers on this, especially with it being kind of the vellum, so it's going to tear easy. And I have the hardest time with this punch, making sure that I get the whole circle and not just pieces of one, because it's a big punch, but it's a little bitty thing that you're punching. And I am struggling so hard. I finally just give up, because when I do punches, I like to do the punches as close together as possible so that I get the most out of my paper. But that particular punch makes it hard to do that. So I struggled there for a minute, but I get them all on and glue them down, and now I am using my mica stain, and I'm just putting some little splatters down, and that was the Iron Gate. Now for this set of pictures here, what I'm going to do is no, I'm not. I was just going to say I was going to make a flap, but I'm not making a flap for this one. I made a flap for a different one. This one, what I'm doing right here is I'm going to use this orange polka dot paper for my journaling, and I'm going to put it on the back of the picture of my younger daughter that I have there. Now, this is another punch that I have issues with. I know if you fold your paper and put it into the punch, it's supposed to punch out a tab that's already folded at the top, so you can just, attach one side and fold it over to attach the other side. And there I had folded my piece of paper, and I'm like, wait a minute, how am I supposed to do this? Because to me, the punch is upside down. If they had turned it around the other side with the hinge part, facing the other way, it would have made it really easy to do that with the tab. But they have it situated in such a way that you have to fold over a really thin piece of paper. And I didn't do a thin piece of paper because I kind of forgot, because I haven't made a tab like that in a long time. So I finally just gave up and punched out 2 tabs, which you can see right here. Instead of having it fold over at the top, I'm just going to stick them on. It's really not a big issue. It was just, I was like, wait a minute, I know you can make this be a fold over tab. I just didn't have a good day with the punches that day. So I put the orange paper back to back with my photo, and then I'm putting my 2 tabs back to back to each other. And I'm going to get that lined up. And I really would have liked it to be the fold over kind, because at least then it would line up more easily. But in this case, I had to line it up myself, and I'm not always very good at that. And here I just have this little container that I finally corralled some of my embellishments into. And I spend a lot of time with these little word stickers. I go through every single one looking for some that I think will go with what I am working with. And, you know, this isn't really a picture of anything spooky or anything. So it was a little difficult to find some word stickers that would go. But I did. I found a few. And I put them off to the side on the wax paper there. And now I'm kind of just going back and forth between the front and back of this with my decorating. And I used that washi tape there on the front and just went ahead and brought it to the back. And now I'm going to use this little floral here. Since we're outside exploring, we went to a preserve and where they have these big, huge rocks or boulders or whatever the place that we're at's called, the boulders, and they're just huge, and the kids have a lot of fun climbing, and you can walk around, and there's a stream and a waterfall, so it's just a lot of fun. And the word sticker that I found to put on here is Wonderful Secret. Is it a secret there? Not really. There's lots of little nooks and crannies to crawl up into, so that you could probably find a secret out there. And it is wonderful there, so that's why it works. So now I'm going to put these little gemstones and sprinkle them on in the orange. And I just put the other piece of that floral on the back. Now, these pictures here, I'm trying to figure out how I want them, but this is a picture of a spider that we found in the almost dry creek bed. And one of the moms that we were with, she was really excited and was calling to her kids to come and see this huge spider. And I'm like, oh, let me take a picture. I mean, I don't really care for spiders, but I'm better with them being outside where they belong and not in my house. So I wanted to take a picture, and she's like, here, let me put my hand beside it so you can get a perspective on how big it really is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that thing could eat your hand. It was so big. She was definitely a lot more brave than me. So that is her hand there with that spider, and oh my gosh, that thing, it was definitely, I mean, if it was sitting in her palm, its little legs would probably be hanging off of her palm, because it was really big. And then my washi tape thing, not washi tape, my ATG tape broke, and it was not the ATG tape's fault. It was my fault. I was trying to get the ATG tape off of the paper backer because it likes to stick. And as I was trying to get it off, my pinky caught part of it somewhere and broke it. And then I was like, oh my goodness. So I had to stop and fix that. But it's okay. I went ahead and got that done. And now I am working on my title. I have a little title for this page, and I've called it As Big as Your Head or Hand. Because that spider was huge. I think she said that it was a fishing spider. I have never heard of a fishing spider. But she's got 2 boys, and they're young. They're probably like, I don't know, 7, 8. And, you know, they're all about the creepy crawlies and learning about the snakes and the spiders and stuff like that. So I guess when you're a boy mom, you learn a lot of stuff about nature stuff. But since I have 2 girls, they weren't as into that, I think, as boys can be. Let's see. So I go ahead and I put on this little gemstone type spider. And I thought about putting some more on there, but then I'm like, that might be a little too much. So I find these little spiders here on the 12 by 12 sticker sheet from the Pebbles Spooky collection. And they are adorable. And really, this spider was a really pretty spider. He really was. He was just really big. And it was kind of scary. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of these Altenew enamel dots. Does anyone else have an issue with figuring out where they want to put their enamel dots and in what configuration they want to put them in? Because I seem to always have a problem with deciding where I want to put them so that they look cute and not all clumpy or clunky or whatever. So it takes me a few minutes to get them on. And then I thought I was done with that page until I looked over and I saw my little word stickers here and was like, oh yeah, I have a perfect one for this page. And it says, the fragile texture of a spider's web. I have no idea if this spider makes a web since it's supposed to be a fishing spider. So I don't know, maybe it spins a trot line. I don't know. I need to look it up just to find out more about this kind of spider. But I finally get that situated and put that down, and now I'm moving on to this jack-o'-lantern. Now, I don't know about you, but when I go trekking through the woods, I don't anticipate finding a jack-o'-lantern just out in the woods. But we did. We found one. Somebody was getting into the spooky season spirit and had left a jack-o'-lantern out with the boulders. And they really did a great job. I love this jack-o'-lantern. But of course, we all had to get pictures of it and have pictures of our kids with it. But that was just really kind of funny. Just, you come around the corner and there's a jack-o'-lantern. So definitely had to get a picture. And I have this little die cut that says spooky, because that is kind of spooky to come up on some random jack-o'-lantern. And then at the top I have a little word sticker that, oh, see now here, you see that the ATG tape doesn't want to come off of the backing. So I end up fighting with it often. So I get that spooky die cut down, and that one is from the Pebbles Spooky collection. And then at the top, I just put a little bit of washi tape, and it says the jack-o'-lantern and mischief, because somebody was doing mischief with a jack-o'-lantern. And I'm going to put some of my splatters on, and I'm using the Harvest Moon one. I probably should buy like 3 or 4 of this Harvest Moon because it's so pretty, and I've already used, at least 1/4 of the bottle. And then for this side, because I have these bright oranges that I have on here, I'm using the Burning Ember mica stain for this page. I'm just going to sprinkle that around. Try and get it exactly where I want it, because a lot of times, you know, they don't go where you want them to. They just land how they land. So sometimes you have to cheat a little. And then I'm going to put a little bit on my card here, or on my photo. And once that dries and I can turn it over and do my journaling and stuff, I will put some on the back as well. And again, that one's the Harvest Moon. It's such a pretty yellow. It doesn't dry yellow. It dries a gold. And that is gonna do it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you're making some wonderful spooky memories this season. And be sure and check out the links below for a link to the playlist for Scrap-O-Ween. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.